Hello students, today's agenda is we're going to stamp the homework. We're going to be completing the square and the assignment is 10.10. Today students will be able to solve quadratic equations by completing the square. Okay, so let's see. So I want you to recall from last week and also yesterday's assignment or lesson that we were working with perfect squares. So you had something like this. This is a perfect square, this is a perfect square. I also told you that you can go directly to the square to make that one square, and that it will be the square root of this one and the square root of this number, but also that same number is half of this. So the square root of 16 is 4, but also half of 8 is 4. And so that's very important for this lesson. Okay, so half of 8 is 4, or the square root of 16 is 4. And now we can start solving. So if we take the square root of both sides, we have x plus 4 is equals to plus or minus 0. We subtract 4 from both sides, and so x will be equals to, remember when you are adding or subtracting 0, it's just one answer, which is that one number. Okay, so the value of x is equals to -4. Okay, so again, that means that our parabola is going to touch at that. For the x-intercept, it's just 1 point, and again, we'll see more about that later on. Okay, but this is important to be able, once we have the perfect square, we're gonna get the square root of that and half of the middle term. Okay, that's important to know for our next lesson. So this is just review. Now, today, as it says, we're going to be completing the square. This is a perfect square. Oops. This is a perfect square, right? Because we say that we have two exact sides of x plus 4 and x plus 4. It's a perfect square. And when we multiply this is the product. That will be the area. The area is equals to x squared plus 8x plus 16. Okay? Today we will be completing the square because it's not going to be complete. It's not going to be perfect like this. And so let's see. Let's say that we have x squared plus 8x plus something minus 9 is equals to 0. So this is just an additional, but how can I complete to make this a perfect square? And it's gonna take a funny path, but what we're gonna do is take that square, just like in here, we open the parentheses, and we took the square root of this and half of that, and that's what we're gonna apply here. Square root of this, half of the middle term, which is positive 4, and that's how we complete the area of this perfect square. We just raise that 4 to the second power, which is 4 times 4 is 16. But if we're adding that 16 in here, we're gonna have to add the 16 over here as well. Okay, let's see. So when we get the square root of this part right here, this is representing this part. So we need to still get down the -9 is equals to 16. We cancel the 9 on both sides. And what do we have left? we have this perfect square that we formed equals 16 plus 9 is 25. We take the square root of both sides, and so x plus 4 is equals to plus or minus, and the square root of 25 is 5. So we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. And so x is going to be equals to, again, you can write it on the side, -4 plus 5, -4 minus 5, and it will give me 1 or -9. Okay? Again, if you need to do that on the side, that's fine, you can do that. Take a minute to copy it down. Okay. Again, one where I need to complete the square. So in here, it's like this part doesn't, it's not there, right? But we're going to be completing that square or that area of the square by figuring out what number we are going to raise to the second power to make it a perfect square. Again, we take the square root of the first term, we get half of the middle term, which is +2, and that's going to be squared. And we bring this down here, equals. Now, we are going to make this perfect square, we need something in there. And so it's 2 raised to the second power, that's 4. So we completed the square. But if we're adding 4 in this side, we need to do that to the other side as well, okay? That 4 can't just appear in one side of the equation and not balance it on the other side. Okay, so that's why we're adding, whatever we're adding in here to complete the square, we need to add it on the other side. Okay, now 0 plus 4 is 4, right? We cancel, sorry about that. We cancel the 5, we start solving by canceling, and so we get x plus 2 squared is equals to 9. We take the square root of both sides, and so x plus 2 is equals to plus or minus 3. Then I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. And so x is equals to -2 plus 3, 1. Or -2 minus 3, -5. Again, if you need to do that separately on the side, that's fine, you can do it. That way you don't feel confused. Okay. Again, we're completing the square because it's missing that little piece of the square. But by adding that little piece that it's missing, if we add it on the one side of the equation, we need to add it on the other side of the equation. And from there, you have been solving equations like this before. Sorry, it's -6x. So x squared minus 6x plus another piece that we're missing of the square, -7 is equals to 0. How can I complete this square? Well, this is going to help us. We take the square root of this. We get half of the middle term, which is -3. And that's the number that we're going to square to add to complete that square. Okay, because this is one of the, these are the sides of my perfect square. So x minus 3, x minus 3. And when I multiply x minus 3 times x minus 3, I'm going to get the x squared minus 6x plus 9. So that's the part that it's missing. This square is not, it doesn't have that part, the 9. Okay. I bring down the 7 equals 0. And so now I'm going to add that missing part. I'm going to complete that square that it's missing by putting that 9 that is not there. But if I do it on one side, I have to do it on the other side. Oh, I'm sorry. And so in here, it's not going to be 0. It's going to be 0 plus 9 is 9. I start canceling. And so x minus 3 to the second power equals 16. I take the square root of both sides. And so x minus 3 is going to be equals to plus or minus the square root of, the square root of, plus or minus the square root of 16 is 4. I add 3. And so x is equals to 3 plus 4, 7. Or 3 minus 4, it's -1. Okay, when there are different signs, we subtract and leave the sign of the bigger one. Okay, take a minute to write it down. And you can always pause it. Okay, so in here, we have something different. Okay, so I need to complete the square by getting the two sides. And I know that it's just the square of this. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that again. So the square root of this, half of the second one. Notice that I don't put the x in here. And to get this, I'm just going to square this. So -7 times -7 is +49. Whatever I add to one side, I'm going to add to the other side. Okay, this is to complete the square, so I need to put it in both because this is coming out of nowhere. Okay, so we can just add on one side and not on the other. And when I add this, it's equals to 81. I take the square root of both sides, and so x minus 7 is equals to plus or minus 9. I add 7 to both sides, and so x is equals to 7 plus 9, which is equals to 16.